Hi guys, so today Julie and Duke are having a lesson. We're working on Duke's natural crookedness, his natural asymmetry, and we know with Duke that he loves to be more dominant in his left shoulder, and through the work that we do, we have managed to make him more equal and even, but I wanted to show you the exercises that we've used to create a straighter Duke. These exercises are really important for something like Duke that was into that left shoulder, and where he's been into that left shoulder for quite a few years, it has created actually some issues with that left foot. So this lot of exercises that I've put together today just show you with a horse with the dominance in the left shoulder how to go through a set of exercises that are going to help straighten the horse, because actually to straighten a horse you don't just ride it straight, because if you ride it straight it will always remain in its natural crookedness with one leg that pushes, one leg that holds behind, and a dominance in one of the shoulders in front. I'm going to start with the leg yield along the long side. So this sequence of exercises are really good for Duke because he's very dominant in his left shoulder. So by leg yielding along this long side, we're encouraging him to take a little bit more weight into the right shoulder. And we just have to monitor that we don't get too much sideways, because otherwise he'll get stuck. So we just gently keep our weight a little bit in the right seat bone. That's good. Little half halts right rein. Now nice and straight as you come out of the exercise, and then you're going to come into a half 10 metre circle, and you're going to leg yield him back to the track. So you come onto the half 10 metre circle, you take a slight flexion to the left, you keep your weight in your right seat bone, and again this encourages Duke to take more weight through into the right shoulder and give you a better feeling in your right rein. So these help him with his natural crookedness, which is very dominant in his left shoulder. So ride all the way back. So keeping the theme of keeping him out of his shoulder, as we reach the track, we're going to go shoulder in. So shoulder in to the left with some half halts, staying still into your left seat bone, Julie. That's it, with little half halts, and ride that almost to the corner, but just as you get to about here, straighten up and then ride nice and straight into both reins. Try and make sure you keep him into both reins as you ride out of there. Keep the contact. Now we're just going to take him on the next long side into a little bit of travers, but don't overdo the angle for the travers. You can pop your stick in your other hand so you encourage him to step away. You need your inside leg because it acts like a pillar of support. Perfect. Just don't go for too much angle. So less is more. Yeah, good, perfect. Just gently keep that, just keep monitoring the rhythm. Good, good. Keep riding that. Keep him round your inside leg, which is your left leg, good. Now straighten him, make sure he's into both reins as you straighten him. And now we're going to take a half 10 metre circle again. And I want you to ride at the centre line for a few steps, because what he tends to do is fall a little bit this way. So ride the centre line for a few steps. Now you're going to half pass back to the track. So you're looking over at S, you're pointing his nose there first because the shoulder must lead. Then a little half halt, you're still left seat bone. Yeah, and think a little forwards with your left leg, and then a little over with your right leg. Keep the flexion to the left, because we're keeping him hollow through the left shoulder. Now just relax the rein and give him a pat. So he gets a moment to have a little break. So Julie, if we now do a little bit of trot work, so knowing that Duke is more of a right bended horse, he will naturally give you too much bend. So the head and neck and the quarters will just flex this way to his hollow side. So we want to try to encourage him to step into the right shoulder a little bit more and out of the left shoulder. So if we Trot and think about him being straighter this way to start with. So we don't really go for the bend, we keep him straighter. Then just to encourage him a little bit more into the right shoulder to help us get a more equal feel in the rein, we're going to do a little counter flexion to the outside, and then we're going to ride a little few steps of leg yield away from your left leg into the right rein, and a few steps like that. So you're pushing him out of your left leg into your right rein. Then you straighten him up and try and keep the feeling equal in both reins, and hopefully he should feel a little bit more consistent as you trot out of that. So as you come out of the counter flexion, into the leg yield a little bit, and then into both reins, and he should feel fairly equal into the both reins. Good, and then back to walk, and then we change the rein, and then on the left rein we're going to ride, so naturally he's more right bended, so on the left rein we need to think about riding the circle with some shoulder fore, because the shoulder fore is going to help with the straightness. So a little bit lower in his pole, make that one of your first jobs. So he's more over his back. That's it. And then just a little shoulder fore on the circle. That's it. So you're pushing him into that right shoulder. Good. And then equal into both reins and push him forwards. And he should feel quite nice and light and even in the hand, because you've moved him around and got him a little bit more supple, and you've got him more out of his left shoulder now. And then back to walk. Darcy is a 5-year-old Connemara pony. She's been with us since November, and just adding a little bit to the lesson that we did with Julie, is that Duke is a little bit more advanced in his way of going. So he's more able to do those exercises, but what I'll show you is how to get started with a baby horse, so you can use those exercises, and I'll just show you a simpler system with something that's like 4 or 5 that you just want to get started with. So we're going to start like we started with Duke, and we're just going to go into a little bit of leg yield, because actually Darcy is quite in her left shoulder as well. So this exercise will be good for her. So we just start off with a little baby leg yield, which you'll get a little bit confused with. So we have to like give her the option to get out of it. We don't want her to feel trapped in this. So my stick is in my left hand because I want to move her away from my stick. I want to encourage the weight a little bit more in my right seat bone so she can follow me that way. And you'll see I have to use my left leg to push her over, but I do have to just catch her a little bit in my right leg as well. So these are the real baby steps where Duke would have been a sort of year or so ago, but you know, this is just showing you that it can be done. You just have to be patient, and see she's already getting a little bit better at it now. Then I'm going to ride straight, and I'm going to do the half circle here, just get a little bit more impulsion in the walk, because we want her to be happy doing these exercises in the walk before we go to trot. So then we're going to leg yield her back to the track. So I still want to keep my stick in this hand and my weight in the right seat bone, and I'm just going to leg yield her away. So then that keeps that left shoulder hollow, and that's the one she likes to pop into, so that makes left lead canter very difficult. So we've got too much sideways there, so just have to catch her with my right leg, ride forwards a little bit, and then finish the exercise off. Now from there, like with Duke, we go into the shoulder in. Because we're still managing to keep the left shoulder hollow and get her to put a bit more weight into the right seat bone, into the right shoulder. And then just allow her out of it to relax. And actually she's really trying there, so that's super. She's getting the idea. So our reward is to lengthen the rein there, give her a pat, because that's actually quite a difficult exercise. But it just shows you've got to start somewhere. They're not all born being able to do it, and don't be afraid that it might be a bit messy and it might be a bit difficult, and you know, you might think, oh God, am I doing it wrong? But it's important to learn and teach them how to move those shoulders to better help with their natural asymmetry and their crookedness. So after those exercises, the trot feels so much better, even though those exercises aren't perfect, but you get a feeling of the horse being more equal in the rein, which is the whole point of these exercises, is to feel even left to right. And you can see that the trot's got much more forward flow now. And here on the left rein she likes to fall a little bit to the left, but once you've done those exercises she actually doesn't feel like she's falling so much to the left anymore. So the reality is it's not that easy, and I just wanted to show you that even for myself, when you're starting with a baby horse, that it possibly isn't going to look pretty and it isn't going to look polished like Duke's does, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. So, you know, this horse, if we now start to ask her that sort of 2-3 times a week, she'll gradually start to build the correct muscles in the right places, and it will all just get easier for her because you're basically working on her suppleness. So those exercises are really useful for her because it's like her Pilates or yoga. So she needs to do those, and now she needs to start doing them more regularly. So those set of exercises were set up to better help Duke's left dominant shoulder, but you could just change that around. If your horse is more dominant in its right shoulder and it's a left bended horse, you just literally take those exercises and do them on the other rein and the other way round. Just slowly work through that formation, and if you can't do it all in one day, it doesn't matter. Just start with something very simple, like just teaching your horse to leg yield down the long side, so that you can just start just in simple steps to eventually get to that stage.
I just wanted to add, don't be put off by these exercises, because I'm actually very, very crooked myself. I've got scoliosis of my spine, quite bad arthritis. But by doing these exercises, I've learnt more how to control my body and my body awareness, because I've had to learn it for him. So when Sarah says right seat bone and left seat bone, I can actually do that now by changing my body awareness, because I'm naturally bent. And so it does actually help the rider as well, and keeps you straight and supple as well as the horse. So you're actually progressing together. With my problems, and with lots of people who have got problems, one leg shorter, hips are different, shoulders are different, and so on. The main thing is about getting yourself to do regular exercises, Pilates, yoga. The biomechanics, which is like a buzzword at the moment, you do need it, because how you sit influences your horse. And until you can influence your body, you can't influence how your horse moves. So if you're always crooked, your horse will always be crooked. So it's a good training aid for both of you.
I hope you guys enjoyed this video today, and just don't forget to like and subscribe so we can keep making more for you.